All right, well, I tell you what, I've seen some more questions kind of start up and queued up here. We'll save some of them as we get into rapid fire. Do you want to start some rapid fire right now?
Let's go, baby. Let's go. Rapid fire on a Wednesday.
Yeah, baby. Fill in the blank. Lorenzo Styles practicing at cornerback at today's practice, Vince, is blank.
When I read that, I was like, what? Because I wasn't at practice today.
And I was waiting all day and I never got it to, but you obviously watched a little bit of the show. So
I was dumbfounded by that. It's dumbfounding to me. You know, again, we do know that he has practice there throughout the spring. It's just not while we have been there. Okay. So I think that's important to understand, right? But I was shocked. That is not the move. If there was going to be a move, that was not the move I saw taking place. I just didn't. So I'm shocked by the whole thing. I mean, if it helps the team, fantastic. But I am absolutely shocked that that's what they're attempting to do right now.
Yeah, and apparently, you know, and again, we touched on this earlier. Apparently, this is something that he was interested in doing, and he has dabbled in this a little bit over the course of the spring when we haven't been there. It's just that today was the first time that we actually got to see it. And he looked, I mean, the guy is a little over 6'1". He's a little bit, he's like listed at 190 pounds. So he has good physical traits, and just watching him play cornerback, it's obvious that he played cornerback in high school and he hasn't forgotten some of those skills. The problem is, like, cornerback is not where the depth issues are in the secondary. Like, if you're going to have a guy like him, move from the offense, safety is, probably where you'd like it a little bit more, but that's not where he's been running. But he looked pretty good what we saw. He went up in a one-on-one with Braylon James and was very physical with James. Now, again, you're talking about 6'1", 190 going into your junior year versus a kid who should be finishing his senior year of high school right now. So you would expect him to have a little bit more man strength than the young guy. But, he did. He out-physicaled him at the line of scrimmage. So I don't know. I don't know what to make of it, but I was completely shocked because we were in those blue bleachers, on the completely one side of the field. The corners were working on the other field. There's two practice fields out there. So they were working, and someone said something about Lorenzo Styles out there, and I looked at the corners. I'm like, and I didn't see him. I said, is he in a blue jersey? And they said, yeah, wait for so-and-so to move. And then somebody kind of, took a step forward, and then it revealed Lorenzo Styles wearing his blue jersey.
And he's the only number 4 on the roster, which I thought was interesting in the first place, because if you remember last year at this time, Xavier Watts was number 4, and then he switched back to 26 so that he could go play offense and never changed out of it. And now he's number 0. I assumed he would go back to 4. So maybe that's why there's no other number 4, because they want to be able to use him on both sides of the ball. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. I just like numbers. So
maybe that's it.
I don't know.
Well, Anthony asks, how surprised would we be if Ziegler starts over Marist by season's end?
By season's end? Not super surprised. By season start, I would be surprised, but I think I might also be surprised if Marist was starting. I mean, I don't know that that's a foregone conclusion right now. So, I guess let's see how things, transition, but Ziegler could easily get a start in there someplace. I don't know that he'll be the everyday starter, though.
I'd be shocked if Ziegler doesn't at least start a game by the end of the season, just based on where he is right now and, where you would expect him to be by the end of the season. And, that's obviously unless we see more, but again, like, if we're only talking about Will linebacker, then I think there's another option. Like Jack Kaiser could be there as well. But because nickel dime packages and all, I think Ziegler is going to see some action in a lot of those, specialty packages and stuff like that.
And they could start in one of those specialty packages at some point. So then he would technically be a starter.
Right. So so I would not be surprised if he's a starter. I think we're all going to be following what happens with Leafau and that whole,
Yeah.
you know, those kind of, because again, I think the only linebacker spot we're really confident in right now is the middle linebacker.
Yeah.
JD Bertrand. So last week, Todd McShay had Michael Mayer going to Dallas with the number 26 pick in the draft, which is 2 weeks from tomorrow. And now Mel Kiper Jr. this week has Mayer also going to the Cowboys with the same pick, number 26 in the first round. Vince, are they just toying with me at this point?
I mean, according to the internet, he's a third-tier tight end, so I don't know what you're getting so excited about. Okay? He's third tier. He's like the fourth best tight end in the draft. You know, of course Dallas will pick him because he's no good. He stinks. He's not a good tight end. Dude, if that ends up happening, I mean, I realize Jalen Smith didn't work out, but I was so jealous that you got Jalen Smith.
That's because of injury, though. That's because
I know,
of injury.
But I was jealous at that point.
Worked out for a year and a half.
You know, I will be insanely jealous if you get Michael Mayer. No doubt about that. I mean, he will instantly make the team better offensively. Instantly. If they actually use him the way they should.
It's my dream. It's my dream. And you see other guys, being talked about in the, it's like, it's 26. A lot can happen before pick number 26. Some other team might actually wake up and say, hey, this Michael Mayer guy looks pretty good. Dane Brugler from The Athletic released his Beast, The Beast. It's a 300+ page NFL draft guide that breaks down position by position and player after player. He's got Mayer number 1, on his tight end.
He's not wrong. I'm sorry. I'm obviously bullish on Michael Mayer. He's the best tight end in the draft. If he falls all the way to 26 and you end up getting him, you better go ahead.
I would be ecstatic.
Go to bed a happy man that Thursday night because you guys just won the first round of the draft. That's how I feel about it.
I would sleep well. Anthony also wants to know how we feel. Would we like to see a normal practice versus the Blitz Fest practices?
Duh. I want to be at practice on Saturday. Like, that's where I want to be at practice, when they're having a full-fledged scrimmage, which obviously sounds like it's going to happen, in the blue gold game for the most part. But I would rather see a controlled scrimmage in practice than I would the blue gold game, because there's just too much crap that goes along with the blue gold game. Plus, the teams are going to be split up. So it's not going to be number one. It's not going to be the ones together.
The draft is going to be next week at some point. I forgot about that. They've got to draft teams and all that stuff.
Which I enjoyed going to last year, by the way, to the draft. And I don't think it's going to be open to the media this time around. It doesn't sound like. But I kind of dig that kind of stuff. They made a big deal out of it last year. Remember that? Like, remember Jerome Bettis was the MC, and they had like the whole thing, and they had all the jerseys hanging up, and they took pictures. Like, I thought it was cool. I really enjoyed that.
Me too. To answer the question, I agree. I would, I'd rather see a full scrimmage than, you're right. The blue gold game, they're going to, the team's going to be split up unevenly. It's not necessarily going to be 1s versus 2s and all that. Although I think you could make a case that they should just, rather than drafting the offensive line, they should play the first unit offensive line and the second unit offensive line on different teams, or, that kind of thing, rather than cobble it together and all that kind of stuff to give them, a better chance of working together and those kind of things. Oh yeah. But they're going to hide things at the blue gold game. They're going to keep it as vanilla as possible, and of course you have the running clock in the second half and all those different things. So yeah, I'd much rather see a scrimmage than what we've seen, but also take what we got today, because we weren't expecting what we got today. That's true. And it gave us at least something to talk about and something, to base what we saw previously on as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fill in the blank. It's blank that the Notre Dame women's basketball team will open the season against South Carolina in Paris, France in November.
I mean, I knew about this already. I'm just saying, because I got a man on the inside. But it's freaking awesome. Like, it's really cool. I think
I was sworn to secrecy, so you didn't.
I didn't tell anybody.
You didn't actually just say that. So.
No, and I didn't tell anybody either. Because as soon as you told me, I forgot. And then when it got announced, I was like, oh yeah, Sean told me about that. But no, I think it's awesome. I think it's a great way to grow the game. I think the women's basketball is as popular as it's ever been, and so why not take it for a spin with one of the top two? I would assume the preseason, both of these teams are going to be in the top 5. I mean, I think that's a pretty safe bet, and you're going to take 2 of your best teams overseas. I think it's a great idea.
Absolutely. And I saw some people, after it was announced today, on social media, why are they doing that? Why aren't they playing, here in the States or, wherever else? No college basketball game, men's or women's, has ever been played in Paris. And now you've got Notre Dame, and what is in Notre Dame? The Notre Dame Cathedral, and you've got South Carolina, 2 premier programs going head to head in Paris. It's going to be awesome. And this will also be the first time that the women's basketball team has ever played outside the continental U.S., so they're going to go play a regular season game in Europe to start off the season. So
awesome.
It's going to be awesome. Got to brush up on some French. Got to, learn some conversational getting around and all that kind of stuff. And excited about it. Ready for that trip.
I agree with Anthony on this one too. Would love for ND to give SC a season opening L.
That'd be very nice.
They're going to be trotting out some pretty talented ladies, assuming health is all good to go around the horn, and that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, and I agree with Jason. It is pretty damn cool that it's like how many again, no college basketball game has ever been played in Paris before. So how many people can say that they played in Paris? As of right now, the answer is 0. So that is very cool. They're going to get to do something nobody has ever done before.
And a little second honeymoon for you and the missus too.
That's right. If she decides to go.
Well, if she doesn't want to go, I'll go with you.
I'm sure you would. Yes. So the Aaron Rodgers to the New York Jets talk still lingering. Do you buy or sell Rodgers is going to be a Jet by draft night in 2 weeks?
This is tough because I figured if this was going to happen, it would have happened already. And all the talk had basically died down, and now all of a sudden people are talking about it again. So I guess it's back on the table. I'm going to sell it just because I just don't trust anything that has to do with him right now. I want to buy it. I want him out of the NFC North. I want him to go to New York and just get hammered by the press every day. Like that would be a popcorn moment for me. I would enjoy watching that. But
sure you would.
I just don't see it happening. I hope so, but I just don't see it happening.
Like all these Packers people have to answer to it, like the Jets. Someone from the Jets was talking about it over the weekend and the whole thing. And it's like the holdup right now is what the Jets are willing to give up. And I think what the Packers want in return for Aaron Rodgers. And I can see why, like if the Packers are saying, hey, we want, first round draft picks and whatever else. Well, there's no guarantee that Rodgers isn't going to just retire after one more season. So how much do you want to give up if you're the New York Jets, So
sure. But
at the same time, the Jets need him more than the Packers apparently need him at this point. So I think something's going to get done. Like it might happen. Like we see a Schefter bomb drop, like an hour before the draft or something like that. So I'll say it will get done.
I hope
at least during draft night, Thursday night next week.
This is one of those ones where I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope you're right. This is one that I would really love for that to be the case.
Yes.
When is the draft? Is it the
2 weeks?
The 20th?
It's the week after the Blue Gold game.
Oh, it's the week after. Okay, so we're not going to miss the draft by being at the Blue Gold game.
2 weeks from Thursday. Yeah. So tomorrow's the 13th. The next week is the 20th. The Blue Gold game is the 22nd, and then the draft begins on the 27th.
Ooh, there's a good couple of weeks here coming up. Okay.
Yeah, we're getting into the stretch. We're getting into the stretch.
I can dig it.
I'm thinking like maybe mock draft, like
ooh, okay.
Our own little mock.
That might be something maybe fun for Friday. Like a Friday thing with the 3 of us.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Like we'd have to do that the week before, but yeah, we could do that. All right, so WJS, whatever that is,
Sounds like a radio station.
I know it does. He said he would love to, or she would love to hear Vince's top 5 quarterbacks in the NFC, because on one of your shows last week, Jason gave one of the worst top 5s ever. Nothing but I assume he means Jesse.
Worst ever?
Do you know the quarterbacks that are in the NFC right now? That's the point. There is not like what we gave was assuming Aaron Rodgers is going to the AFC. How would we rank the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFC? And, like, think about it. Okay, if Rodgers leaves, Tom Brady has also just retired.
He's gone.
Drew Brees retired 2 years ago. Like, those easily would have been and even Matt Ryan left the NFC, to go to the Colts last year. So the complexion of NFC quarterbacks has changed quite a bit, because we had like Matt Stafford, we had Jalen Hurts, we had Dak Prescott.
Okay.
I'm trying to even think.
I like the kid from Detroit. I would have up there.
So you'd have Goff in there.
I mean, he's in the conversation. I'm throwing out, like, as I'm sifting through the teams right now. Like, sorry, Kyler Murray's not up there.
See, Jesse had Kyler Murray in his top 5. I don't agree with that either.
I would not. The kid from Atlanta is not old enough.
Kirk Cousins, I think, made the top 5.
Kirk Cousins, I think, should be up there. I mean, kid's made a lot of money.
But again, obviously. That's what you're stuck with in the NFC right now. The quality of quarterbacks in the NFC is not good. So, like I don't know what you expected us to come up with. Danny Dimes. Oh, my goodness. So, I don't know. I don't know if you have.
As I'm looking through the NFC, none of these quarterbacks are like, man, I wish he was on my team. Like, I've got Justin Fields on my team, and it just feels like, okay, well, he can compete with anybody in the NFC. I don't know that he's one of the best, but he's at least fun to watch for right now. I don't know how long that's going to last, but he's at least fun to watch. So, yeah, saying you're in the top 5 of the NFC is not really a ringing endorsement, in my opinion, for being a good quarterback.
Yeah.
How about that?
Anthony wants a blue gold draft show.
Now, that one we could do. That one we could definitely do. Didn't you and I feel like we did that a couple of years ago on your radio show.
Well, I think we did. We drafted teams.
Yeah, I remember sitting in the stands at something for Penn, or I was sitting in the stands someplace with like my doodle pad, and like,
of course you were.
We were doing it on the radio. I remember doing that. So that was fun. That was a lot of fun.
That's right. And that would be fairly easy to do. I think that would not be a bad idea. Fill in the blank. The Tampa Bay Rays are 11-0 to open the season, and it means blank.
Nothing. It means that they've had a really good run of 11 games. I'm proud of them. That's awesome, but they're still the Rays. They make it to the playoffs all the time, and then nothing happens. And so still, until I'm proven wrong, that's how I feel like this is going to go. Now, I think that they are a playoff team. I think they probably make the playoffs. But I'll tell you what, man, this is baseball. You can easily lose 11 in a row as you could win an 11 in a row. And it is a very, very long season. So it's great for now, but
a New York radio and TV host tried to crown the Mets the NL East champions on Memorial Day last year, and that did not work out. It's great for them that they're 11-0. It's not like they played a murderer's row. They played Detroit, Washington, Oakland, and they've taken a couple of games from Boston. Interesting that a couple of, they're 11-0, and a couple of their wins over the A's were 11-0 wins in back-to-back games. But, it's April. Again, it's great for them that they're off to a great start, and they're in command right now in the AL East. But there's a lot of baseball to be played. What is that? Still 151 games remaining.
A lot of baseball left to be played.
Yeah, you can easily lose 11 in a row as you started off with 11 straight wins. All right, a couple more to finish up on here tonight. This one is for Vince. Curious, what were your thoughts when you first found out you were having twins? I also have kids and a set of 15-year-old, 5 kids and a set of 15-year-old twins.
It's very similar. That'll be me in 2 years, or a year and a half, because my twins are 13 and their birthday's in October.
My gosh, are they that old now?
Yeah, they're 13, dude. And they're almost as tall as me, which isn't saying a lot, but like, they're big kids. No, quick story, very quick story. So I was working at Bonefish Grill as one of my little part-time gigs at the time as I was teaching. And we went to the ultrasound, found out that they were twins. I vividly remember questioning the credentials of the ultrasound lady. I actually asked her if she was drunk. She's like, I've been doing this for 25 years. I'm like, all right. But anyway, I then went to work that night at Bonefish, and I was just off my game, man. I was messing up orders. I was just all over the place. And that's not like me. Like, I'm usually really good at my job. And my boss was like, dude, what is wrong with you? And I take out my little pad, and I wrote on there, just found out we're having twins. And I ripped it off and I gave it to him. And he read it. He goes, holy crap, go home. He just sent me home in the middle of the shift. He's like, this isn't going to work. And it took me a good 2 weeks to kind of like
come to grips with the whole. Yeah.
Yes. I was like, what? Because we had one kid and the twins were next. And so we're, like anybody else, like, oh, one is great. Like, two, no big deal. Like, we'll still be good. Going from 1 to 3, like that was a lot to like process and deal with. And yeah, it was a little nutty. It's a good thing that I didn't find out as they were coming out, because that would have been would have been terrible.
That would have been too much.
That would have been way too much.
Yes. Finally, from Rumlick, Derek, he said, Sean, after carrying the afternoon show internally, do you hope Vince brings the fire? And I did not carry the afternoon show. I can say that confidently. But Vince brought the fire tonight. So
always bringing the fire, baby.
I'm glad. Everyone's playing, like a little, I won't say injured, but we were all, a little dragging today. So
that's fair.
I thought everybody brought their game today. So that was good.
And I'm off to a birthday party after this. One of my other children is having her 11th birthday today. So we're going to go.
Happy birthday.
Have a little dinner for the Clomeister, for little Chloe.
All right. So good deal. Well, you enjoy that. And appreciate everyone for being here as always.
Yes.
Today. Great stuff. Great questions that we had. We'll be back tomorrow. As we don't have any practice tomorrow, but we've got plenty of Notre Dame stuff that we can talk about on tomorrow's show. Gonna have a special guest that I'll just say we're gonna have a special guest.
You're such a tease.
I know.
You're such a tease.
I know.
Man, I don't even know who it is.
So you have to tune in for tomorrow's show.
All right, I will.
All right. Hit the like button on your way out. We appreciate it. Subscribe, rate, and review. Give us that 5-star rating and leave a comment on your podcast platforms as well. Vince, I will talk to you later, and we'll talk to everybody else very soon on IB Nation Sports Talk.